find these sample videos incredibly helpful for seeing things in motion. I adore good product photography, and we try our best to sort of create really, really good photos of all of the designs. And at the same time, I find it sometimes useful to see things on video as well, which is why we always do these sample videos for each one of our issues. If you are new to Making Stories, we have a biannual magazine that's called Making Stories Magazine. We publish an issue in the spring and one in the fall, and it's all about knitwear designs that are wearable, fun to knit, that you will want to have in your wardrobe for years and years to come, because that's the most sustainable thing that you can do. So, fall and winter 2024, Art Nouveau, our designers have gone above and beyond to interpret this gorgeous theme. I am going to insert a little mood board picture here. It was so fun way back when I picked the theme and put together the mood board to think about the color scheme and the different shapes. Because that's what I associate with Art Nouveau, you know, these gorgeous, organic, but at the same time symmetrical shapes, beautifully intricate ironwork railings, for example, book covers. And all of these are reflected both in the designs and also in some of the fantastic, fabulous essays that we have in this issue. So issue 12 has 12 knitwear designs, 12 patterns, half of which are accessories and the other half are sweaters and cardigans. And we're also I'm really proud that we have 3 fantastic essays about different aspects of Art Nouveau in the magazine, and we also have a gorgeous, inspiring poem in it. Issue 12 will be available as a pre-order for customers from our website, makingmanystories.com, as of July 1st, which is also when you can subscribe to this new issue. So if you want to have a subscription starting with issue 12, you can do that then. We also have fantastic stockists all over the world who might have already opened pre-orders on their own. So you can check out our stockist list as well if you want to support your local yarn shop. The official release date of issue 12 is September 4th, 2024. If you are watching this at any point before then, let me just give you a quick overview. So July 1st, pre-orders open. You can get your pre-order in the week starting August, or you can subscribe. In the week starting August 19th, all the subscriptions will be shipping out. In the week starting August 26th, all pre-orders will start shipping out, and that's also where everyone who has purchased this as a digital version in a pre-order will get access to the digital version. And then September 4th, we're celebrating the release of Art Nouveau, and hopefully cast on something together, because we're going to be running another fun little cal for that. Stay tuned for more announcements around the cal. For now, let's focus on the gorgeous knitwear designs from issue 12. I am going to start with the accessories and work my way through the accessories first, and then switch over to the garments. I am going to start with the 2 sock patterns that we have in this issue, and I am so thrilled about this first design that I'm showing you. These are the Clockwork Peacock socks by Natalie Sheldon, who you might also know as Remembrances Pottery, and you might guess why they're called Clockwork Peacock. Because there is a peacock here. These are the feathers, there's the peacock, and this is just an incredibly beautiful design for me. This is art. Like this is just like it's magnificent. This is art, as I said. Natalie is a genius when it comes to colorwork sock designs, and I really love how she paints pictures. So this was inspired by the stained glass windows that you have. So she chose the peacock motif and kind of put this on like a stained glass window. Let me show you the back. So the back again kind of echoes these very cute little flowers and then organic shapes. And then this is the sole of the foot, which has another gorgeous motif. These are worked from the cuff down with an afterthought heel, as you could see, with contrasting heels, cuffs, and toes. You can work this toe up if you want to. You just need to flip the charts upside down. This is super, super, super gorgeous. The yarn that she used for this is Topsy Farm yarn in a fingering weight. Any good woolly sock yarn will be great for this. You will want something that is a little bit woolly, so that the color work actually, is fun to knit and your stitches are not slipping all over the place. And I would also recommend something with a pretty high contrast so that you can see the peacock quite well. So yeah, these are the Clockwork Peacock Socks by Natalie Sheldon. I am really, really, really sorry that I cannot show you the second sock pattern in real life here. The reason is that we had to reshoot some of the photos. When I was doing the layout, I was missing a few shots essentially, really showcasing the lace that is featured on the second sock pattern. And so I sent them back to our photographer, who was in Portugal at the time, and she retook some of the photos, which is why I don't have the sample with me right now. But I am going to insert a few pictures here while I am talking about the next design. They are the cycllemon socks by Mackenzie Alvarez, who we've worked with before, as we did with Natalie. Both of them are fantastic designers. And the cycllemon socks are a really gorgeous lace sock, but not with overall lace. They have an off-centered lace panel that runs down the top of the leg and the top of the foot, and is framed by soothing stockinette. These are also written for cuff down, and I really, really like the elegance of these. And they are at the same time super wearable. I adore lace socks. I really love knitting lace, and I love knitting socks, so that's kind of my dream combination. And at the same time, I find them tricky to wear because honestly, like, I don't wear wool socks in the summer. And in the winter, I want something that keeps my foot warm. So a design like this that is, a lot of really cozy fabric and then some gorgeous lace, I think it's just absolutely, absolutely stunning. Mackenzie designed these with Studio Sola's Natural Sock, which is a wool tencel blend. And it's really, really great. It has some beautiful heathered background, and then good stitch definition, which is definitely what you want for this pattern. The next one that I'm going to share with you is a very, very, very cute pair of mittens. Fingerless mittens. These are called the Walts Mittens. And can't you just see these lines looking like dancers? I think these are absolutely fabulous. So, as you can see, these are worked with 2-color corrugated ribbing for the cuff, and then the top ribbing, and then it's also echoed on the thumb ribbing. And then you have a stripy background on which these gorgeous traveling stitches are worked. And these, I've been told, knit up super, super, super quickly. We had a few testers who worked these up in a day. And I think this is just a really fun pattern for, yarn scraps, or if you have that special skein laying around, and you don't want to knit socks with it, which is what I usually do, then this would be really great. And also if you have like a busier yarn, let's say maybe like a hand spun, you can pair this with a neutral like we did here with a white, and it's going to tone it down a notch. And make a busy yarn really wearable. The pattern features a thumb gusset for really good fit. And then you put the thumb on hold and work it at the end. And otherwise, it's a very straightforward construction, starting from the cuff through the body of the mitten up to the top. The yarn that we originally used for this design is an Australian yarn, because the designer, Christy Wareham Norfolk, is also based in Australia. So we used white gum wool 4-ply fingering. The sample that you see here is not knit in that yarn, but it comes close. We had a really, really sad thing happen with the sample. When the sample arrived with me here in Berlin, the envelope that it was sent in was cut open and the sample was lost, and DHL wasn't able to locate it. So we had to improvise really quickly, and Isabel, our fabulous customer happiness manager and fantastic emergency sample knitter, whipped up this pair of mittens, which is Schoppelwolle Zauberwolle for the blue, so you can see a slight color change there, and BC Garn Similar Mélange in natural white for the contrasting color. So yeah, that's what that is. Walts Mittens by Christy Wareham Norfolk. Next up are our 2 hat patterns for issue 12. I immediately fell in love with this design when I saw the submissions. You all know that I love a good cabled hat, and this is just a really wonderful nod to the opulence of Art Nouveau translated onto a hat. This is the Artist Hat by Elena Dimchevska. Elena is I think she's from Bulgaria. Thinking Bulgaria or Romania, but I think Bulgaria. And I really adore this. So as you can see, the hat has a folded brim, which is where you start, and so that it's not super bulky, you know, you knit a portion of this in stockinette, which I think is really clever, because otherwise, you know, the hat brim would be a lot more bulky than the body. And you start, to me, like, they remind me a little bit of flowers, with these flowers on the brim that then basically transition into this gorgeous cabled pattern with wrapped stitches. And let me show you, how cool is this crown? Like, not showing this very well. There we go. There we go. This is the flower. And I love good crown decreases. I really, really, really love them. I'm also really happy with the yarn that we paired this with. This is Anna and Juan's Merino worsted, a really gorgeous stitch definition, hand-dyed yarn, you know, like, for this pattern, I would recommend really something with stitch definition, with good stitch definition. It would also look beautiful in a woolly yarn, but you will lose some of the gorgeous, crisp, almost 3D effect. Like, look at it from the side of the sample. So yeah, Elena Dimchevska's Artist Hat. This is the Gimar beret by Carly Bauer. And oh, isn't this just gorgeous? So this is a really beautiful pattern inspired by the domed glass ceilings of the Galerie Lafayette. And so there are stained glass ceilings. I was just going to say colorwork glass ceiling. I was like, that would be a fun thing. So stained glass ceiling interpreted in low contrast colorwork. I have seen some tester variations with high contrast colorwork, and it looks great as well. But I really, really like what Carly did here with the low contrast green colorwork. So let me see. It's just this gorgeous, almost star-like shape with these cute little accents. You start this by casting on in the middle, like basically where the pom-pom is, and then depending on whether, you know, like you start it in two different ways, depending on whether you want a pom-pom or a little stem in the middle of your beret, and then you increase your way out, and then when you reach your desired circumference, you start decreasing, pulling it in, and then you can end with the picot edge like she did for the sample, or with a simple folded edge. So it's a really beautiful, you know, color work pattern. Also, you don't need to be a color work expert on this, so I think it's a nice small project for color work. This is designed in Hillesvåg Solje, which has fabulous color work properties and color ranges, because you can work this in like 5 to 6 colorways. So yeah, if you want to knit this, I would recommend something that has a really good color range so you can play around with it a little bit. And I just adore it. Gimar beret. The last accessory that we have is the ironwork cowl by Annie Howard, which is really, really, really cool. And it's not your traditional cowl. I mean, you can wear it as a traditional cowl around the neck, but this is actually designed more like a shoulder warmer. I'm going to insert a picture here of Laura, our model, wearing it so that you can see how this works. Because you do have this little cutout, which goes on the arm so that you can move around a little easier. And I just really, really love the color work on this. Very, very Art Nouveau for me. Organic shapes, but symmetrical and repeating. So like really beautiful. You start the cowl with the bottom rib, which has some little cables for an accent in there. And then you transition into the color work and end with a narrower rib at the top. The yarn that Annie used for this is John Arbin Textiles Yarnadelic Worsted, which is a really gorgeous, very, very beautiful yarn that lends itself well to color work. It's not as woolly as the Solje from Hillesvåg, which I think in this case is actually really good, because you would want to have a pretty high contrast for this pattern to show up well. And good stitch definition, I think, as well, because then the rib is going to look very, very crisp. And the Yarnadelic Worsted has both. So this is fabulous. So this is the Ironwork Cowl by Annie Howard. And that's the last of our accessories. So we have a cowl, 2 hats, a pair of fingerless mittens, and 2 socks in issue 12. I have a pile of a full 5 sweaters and 1 cardigan next to me, and I am so excited about every single one of them. I'm going to start with the Tiffany Lamp Pullover by Laura Barker, which is, as you could guess by the name, inspired by Tiffany Lamp glass shades. We also have a really fabulous essay about those in the magazine. So I was really, really glad to be able to pair the essay with the design. And this is a top-down color work yoke pullover with this really interesting combination of color work and texture in the yoke. So you start from the neck, working your way down, so it's a top-down design, and you introduce this geometric color work in the when you have finished the neck. Words are eluding me today. You only ever work 2 colors at the same time. So even though this is a 3-color design, you only ever work 2 colors at the same time. And then you transition into this really beautiful, almost fan-like shape that introduces a little bit of texture. I have seen tester versions who work this in stripes, which also looks fabulous. So if you kind of want to pick up what is the red here in the sample in here again, you can totally do so. And then, because you introduce this kind of zigzaggy motion here, you work a similar zigzaggy color work repeat of the geometric pattern below that, and then end with this very cute, almost like, it's not flea stitch, but with this very cute motif at the bottom. I love this so much. This is a super great way of, getting a little bit of color work in your life, not too much it's not like a full color work yoke traditional sweater, but a little bit playing around with some of your favorite colors. I think just a really great combination, and I love the inspiration behind it, the Tiffany lamp. The rest of it is worked in soothing stockinette, and then you obviously end with a little bit of ribbing here. The yarn that Laura used for this is the Naturas Jules, which is really nice and woolly and has a great selection of colors, which I think is fabulous for this design. I have seen tester versions in green. I have seen a gorgeous one in pink with neutrals. So whatever your favorite color scheme is, you are guaranteed to find matching colors in Jules. And it's a really gorgeous yarn that holds up really well. So yeah, this is the Tiffany lamp sweater by Laura Barker. And we're moving from colorwork to cables to our cover sweater. So this is Blatna by Helen Mett, a fabulous drop shoulder cabled sweater. Oops, it's a tiny bit wrinkly. I'm really sorry. I should have brought my steamer. So it's this really gorgeous cabled sweater that is inspired by the ironwork railings and gates of Prague, which is where Helen took a trip, and beautiful photos. And those inspired this design, and I think that's such a cool story. And I love how the different cables work with one another. So you start, let me just show you this here. So you start with this hem that has these cute, like, twisted stitch cables, and the larger sort of center cables already come into play here. And then those are kind of like the, I'm lacking the word for this in English, the sticks of the railing, here, and then they prop up this stunning cabled yoke. And I really love how the middle part of this flows into the folded neckline, and the outer parts of it flow into the shoulders, which is where they meet their corresponding cables in the back. So the back has these simple cables on a reverse stockinette background. And I think this is a great design choice. I love something that is very intricate in the front and then kind of echoes that in the back, but doesn't actually have, the exact same pattern in the back, because, I think it's fun. The drop shoulders are in reverse stockinette. And then at the cuffs, you echo the hem, which I think is also a really beautiful detail, as is the folded neckline. I'm really sorry if there is a little bit of background noise right now. I think there is like a truck unloading right next to the studio. I hope it's not too loud. It's going to be gone in a few minutes. Helen used by Lexton's Wool Trace Decay for this. So this is a nice combination of woolly and good stitch definition. The cables are pretty large scale, so you can use a woolly yarn for this, which I absolutely love. And I really like a good DK weight cabled sweater, which is why we went with Wool Trace for this one. So, Blatna by Helen Mett, our cover sweater. Next up is such a unique design. I have never seen anything like it, and it really fits. I think I'm going to make this one for sure from this pattern, from from this collection, because it really fits this this intersection of being special and being wearable. This is Momentum by Yula Kean, who you might know from her work as Hey Mama Wolf. And this is a really, really, really cool design, if you ask me. So you have stockinette, you have this fabulous stripy colorwork pattern that borders the body, and you have ruffles that also echo the stripes and offset the square colorwork and make it, you know, a bit frilly, but not too frilly. And I really, really adore the juxtaposition of these aspects. Ooh, that was an interesting expression there. So yeah, I love this very much. It also has a really lovely neckline, like not like a boat neck, but not like a scoop neck either. Taper long sleeves, like slightly balloony actually. And I just really, really love it. It's super lightweight as well. Yula worked with BC Garn's Simila Silk Bloom for this, which is a piece silk yarn. And I think I'm going to make this maybe even in exactly the same colorways. I love it so much. So, Momentum by Yula Kean. Oops. There we go. Next up, we couldn't not have a full-on colorwork sweater for an Art Nouveau issue. And when I saw this one, I knew that this was gonna be it. This had to be in this collection. This is Hedgebind by Marina Skua. And let me just let you admire this. I mean, I can't. If I were the grocery girls, I was like, can you even, right? Like, this is so Art Nouveau. So Marina's inspiration behind this is Art Nouveau book covers, which also ties in really, really, really nicely with one of the essays that we have in there that explores the female designers of Art Nouveau book covers. And this center panel is just unreal. Like, it's unreal. And I really love the way that Marina thinks about designing, because she came up with a center panel and then said, okay, like, I don't want this to be colorwork in tarja something, so I need a small stitch pattern to go on the body and the sleeves. And that's where she came up with this cute little motif that doesn't distract, but I think really adds to the appeal. And I've heard from testers that this is so much fun. Like, you just want to get to the next row and next row and next row and see this gorgeous center panel evolve. And yeah, it goes really quickly. This is designed with steeks, and Marina walks you through the steeking, so don't be afraid. So it's knit from the bottom up in the round with steeks for the armholes and the neck, which is great because you don't have to work colorwork flat. And then when you cut the steeks open, you then work the folded neckline and the sleeves down to the cuffs. The back is also colorwork, but the small motif. So yeah, I think this is absolutely fabulous. And I love the yarn that Marina picked for this. This is Telling Yarn's Steadfast Decay. If you've been following us for a little while, this is the yarn that we had in the 2023 Winter Celebration box. And it's a fabulous woolly yarn, great stitch definition, beautiful hand-dyed. Yeah, a good colorwork decay yarn is going to be the perfect fit for Hedgebind by Marina Skua. This is also so great. Kind of thinking, I also want to make this one. This would be really fun. And I could use like an additional thicker sweater as well for the winter. We have one more sweater and one more cardigan. The sweater is Wisteria by Agata Makiewicz. And this is the elegance of Art Nouveau personified in a sweater, if you ask me. Let me pull back a little bit so you can see it. This is a top-down raglan sweater with a really lovely scoop neckline and these beautiful raglan increases that echo wisteria bloom, so it has almost a 3D-like effect. Then you work your way through the stockinette body and arrive at a little ruffle, peplum, at the bottom that gives this some nice drape and swing and is just really, really, really gorgeous. And you work, which I think is really clever, a no roll edge at the bottom so that, you know, it doesn't kind of roll up, which I think is really good. And I also adore the sleeves. So it has some ballooniness. They have some ballooniness to them, but not too much, and are taken in just before you work the folded cuff. And I love a good folded cuff. Like this just looks so neat, the sleeve. Like look at it. And how beautifully that echoes the peplum. Yeah, this is really, really gorgeous. Like my kind of special details with the gorgeous raglan increases, the peplum, the balloony sleeves, and the folded cuffs, but casual enough so that I would just wear this over high-waisted jeans any day of the week. Agata used a combination of two yarns, Derum Naturas Albertine and Berenice, which is their fluffy yarn, for a slightly fluffy fabric. So this is written for like a sport to DK weight fabric. And I would choose something that has really nice drape to it. And then you can go on the Wisteria journey with us. I love this so much. This is what always happens when I record these sample videos. I look at every single pattern, and I mean, I've been working on this for a year and a half at this point. And there is, at some point, there's a little bit of fatigue. And then I record these sample videos. I'm like, oh, I want to make this. Oh, I want to make that. Oh, I want to make that too. So yeah, I might need to make a Wisteria sweater as well. Very, very gorgeous. Last, but very certainly not least, we also have a fabulous cardigan pattern in issue 12. This is Alma by Sabine Gschwind. And this is, I don't even think I can fit this into the picture. So this is a really gorgeous, cozy, and at the same time elegant cardigan. It's quite long. So it hits about mid-thigh. And it has this stunning lace panel running down the front. The rest of it is worked in reverse stockinette so that this can really shine, and I really love this. Like this kind of, to me, is an echo of like opulent, you know, bathrobes, sumptuous, silky, you know, like robes that you would throw on and then have a very carefully prepared cup of coffee in the morning. Yeah, that kind of vibe to me. And yeah, I really like it. It also has this cool shawl color that is designed to roll. So, you know, like it's a feature, not a bug. And I really love it. The back is just soothing, and the front features the gorgeous, gorgeous lace panel. Sabine designed this using two yarns held together, Holst yarn super soft, and their Titicaca alpaca. And you can work this in a fingering weight or a sport weight, and in two yarns held together or in one yarn. So this is Alma by Sabine Gschwind. That was our sample overview for issue 12. I'm so glad that you joined me for today, and I am thrilled to be finally sharing this with the world. I love the theme Art Nouveau for our fall and winter 2024 issue. If you loved this, do give this video a thumbs up. Head over to makingmanystories.com. On July 1st, we're going to open pre-orders both for the print and the digital version of issue 12. And we're also rolling over our subscription on July 1st, which means you will then be able to get a subscription starting with issue 12. Pre-orders will ship out in the week starting August 26th. Subscribers get an even earlier look at it. Subscriptions will ship out in the week starting August 19th. If you want to support your local yarn shop, 2 thumbs up for that. Check if they are already a stockist of ours on our stockist list. If they're not, you can let them know about us and they can place an order with us anytime. And I hope you like what you see. Do let me know in the comments below which one design, or maybe 2 designs or 3 designs, what one to jump on your needles right away. I'm always curious to hear what you want to make with our collections. See you soon. Bye.